This is part 3 in our Lovecraft Country series. See our description or comments section to find the other parts. Christina drives like a maniac while Bitch Better Have My Money plays. Christina shows up at Letitia's house, looking to get her hands on Hiram Epstein's old solar system orrery model, which just so happens to be on Hippolyta's desk. Letitia says, "What the fuck is an orrery?" But when she tries to step inside, she gets cock-blocked by a protection spell that Letitia's sorceress friend put in place. Christina, trying to play it cool, mentions that she's the one who secretly funded broke-ass Letitia to purchase a house, probably hoping to guilt her way in. But Letitia simply points out that her name's on the deed and refuses to let her in. Then Christina casually reveals that Atticus showed up at the office and tried to shoot her. Letitia is left completely flabbergasted. Meanwhile, Hippolyta is trying to figure out the hornery. Diana says she and Bobo are going over to his house. Do y'all know who Bobo is? That will come in a later episode. Letitia doesn't waste a second and storms into the library to confront Atticus. She demands to know what he was thinking, trying to take out Christina, and why he didn't tell her that Christina was the one who paid for the house. Atticus tries to explain to Letitia that his attempt to take out Christina didn't go as planned because he couldn't even pull the trigger no matter how hard he tried. He figures it must be because of some kind of invulnerability spell her father must have put on her. Letitia, still upset, suddenly notices that Atticus has packed his bags. She's completely bewildered, assuming he's planning to head back to Florida right after trying to end Christina. Atticus quickly reassures her that he's not going anywhere, at least not until he knows that she and his family are safe. He tells her about something Christina mentioned, the existence of 2 sets of deciphered pages from the Lost Book of Names. According to Christina, one set is still out there, and Hiram managed to keep his hidden even after his death. It dawns on Letitia that this is why Christina was so keen on getting her hands on Hiram's old horny model. Atticus goes on to explain that Titus kept his own set of deciphered pages hidden in a vault, one that's filled with traps only he could access. Letitia, catching on to the idea, tells Atticus that since he has Titus's blood running through his veins, he should be able to get into the vault himself. Atticus agrees, thinking that if he can gather these pages, he could start learning the language of Adam. With that knowledge, he'd be able to cast spells powerful enough to protect them all. Letitia, determined to help, suggests they start figuring out where this vault might be. She even proposes that Atticus should talk to Montrose, who might have some information, especially since he's been digging into his late wife's history. But Atticus quickly shuts down the idea, insisting that he doesn't want her or his father getting involved any deeper into this dangerous mess. He's adamant about keeping them safe, even if it means handling everything on his own. After Letitia leaves, still worried but respecting Atticus's wishes, he returns to his books, trying to piece together the puzzle. As he flips through the books, a name catches his eye. All the books he's been studying have Montrose's name on the book cards. It hits him that his father might have already been down this path, searching for the same answers he's now desperate to find. At the bar, Atticus and Letitia try their best to convince Montrose to help them find the missing pages from the Book of Names. Montrose says hell to the no. He's convinced the two have lost their minds, and the idea of getting mixed up in J.K. Rowling magic shit has him practically rolling his eyes. While Montrose is busy shaking his head at their plan, Christina is off in the neighborhood playing tag with a group of kids. 2 officers show up and escort her to Captain Seamus Lancaster's office. Lancaster isn't thrilled to see her, an outsider despite her standing in the order, showing up unannounced. During their tense exchange, Christina makes it clear that she's interested in the orrery, as it holds the key to a time machine Hiram built, which belongs to Lancaster's lodge. Lancaster reminds her that she's a woman and shouldn't have been allowed into the order. Lancaster is built like a before picture. Montrose reluctantly agrees to join Atticus and Letitia on their mission, though he's not too happy about it. They set off on a road trip to Boston, and this time, they're joined by Hippolyta, Diana, and the talkative barfly tree, who just needs a ride to the coast. At the Boston Museum, Hippolyta and Diana split from the group to enjoy all the exhibits. Hippolyta tells her daughter that she once named a comet, but it was redacted because she's black. A Swedish cracker was given credit instead. Tree explains to Letitia why he's nicknamed Tree. He says it's because most men got 2 legs, but he's got Tree. Letitia is not impressed because Tree has been spreading lies about them doing it in high school. Letitia shades him by calling him his real name. Atticus, Letitia, and Montrose focus on their quest, while Tree tags along for the ride. As Atticus studies a map that once belonged to Titus, Tree casually stirs the pot by mentioning that Montrose has been spending a lot of time with Sammy while Atticus was away. Even though the closet was made of glass, how you gonna out someone like that? After wrapping up a conversation with the security guards, Montrose informs Atticus and Letitia that they'll be able to sneak into the museum after hours. However, They'll only have a 2-hour window before the guards switch shifts. Meanwhile, Christina heads home, but it doesn't go unnoticed. 2 officers tail her, clearly suspicious. William intercepts them, delivering a swift and brutal message, reminding them that Christina doesn't appreciate being followed. Later that night, Atticus, Letitia, and Montrose make their way into the museum, determined to find Titus's vault. After some searching, they uncover the entrance to the vault. This is some Indiana Jones shit. Inside, 3 tunnels lie before them. With time ticking away, Letitia quickly swipes Titus's map, and the group decides to head down the north tunnel after recalling Titus's history. In the tunnel, the group comes across a narrow plank stretching across a deep chasm. There's no other way to cross, so they decide to tie ropes to each other for safety. Letitia goes first, cautiously stepping onto the plank. Just as she gets halfway, something sharp and heavy swings down from above, nearly hitting her head. Atticus catches up to her and realizes it's a booby trap. Letitia manages to dodge the large axe and safely reaches the other side. Montrose notices that the plank is slowly disappearing and warns the others. Atticus runs back to help Montrose, urging him to jump onto the shrinking plank. With Atticus's help, the 3 of them make it across the dangerous trap. This is some white people shit. Black folks usually don't fuck with this. At the end of the plank, they find a puzzle door blocking their way. The plank continues to disappear, adding urgency to their situation. Montrose quickly recites what he knows about Adam and Eve, using his knowledge to solve the puzzle. I'm pretty sure Montrose is more familiar with Adam and Steve. Just in time, the door opens, and they manage to get through before the plank vanishes completely. Inside the door, they find a long passageway filled with rising water. I'm sure they know how to swim. Atticus, using his knowledge, calculates that they have less than an hour to find the pages before the water level gets to the point they can't tiptoe anymore and risk drowning. Atticus questions his father, Montrose, about his knowledge of the sons of Adam. The water rises around them, making Montrose shiver as he explains that George gave him the Order of the Ancient Dawn bylaws on the night he passed away. Montrose admits he read the book and then burned it. This confession angers Atticus, who is frustrated by his father's actions. Montrose tries to explain that he burned the book to protect their family, saying it was George's dying wish. He explains that he wanted to close Pandora's box for good. While father and son argue, Letitia presses ahead and suddenly screams when she finds a dead body. To her shock, it's her neighbor who had gone missing. They soon discover an elevator that, strangely, takes them back to Letitia's place in Chicago. Atticus urges everyone to get in the elevator because the situation is becoming increasingly dangerous. Letitia is furious with Atticus for dismissing everything they've been through and for assuming they won't be able to continue their search for the vault. She angrily pushes Atticus aside and presses on through the tunnel. Montrose advises Atticus to apologize to Letitia and offers some tips on how to be a better boyfriend. Homeboy got experience in both ends. Just then, Letitia calls out that she's found the vault, a door with a dismembered arm. Atticus removes the dismembered arm from the vault door and hesitates before inserting his own arm into the opening. Y'all was supposed to insert Tree's third leg in there. As the vault takes his arm inside, it starts to bleed, but the vault accepts his blood, acknowledging him as one of the Braithwaites. A ladder descends from the ceiling, and the trio climbs up to find a chamber filled with the remains of indigenous people. As they reach for Titus's pages from a corpse's hands, a figure named Yahima is reanimated, and Atticus screams gayer than his father. Yahima introduces themselves, saying they, is a mix of both a man and a woman. If you were watching this on HBO, you'd see they have both genitalia. Atticus, being afraid of seeing them naked, grabs them some clothes. Letitia and Montrose are surprised to hear that Atticus can understand Yahima's language, Arawak. Yahima explains that Titus had kidnapped them, forced them to help him by translating his books, and then had their family wiped as repayment. So Atticus got a little Drake in him, colonizer. When Yahima returns to her desk, they grabs the scroll. Suddenly, the windows shatter and water begins flooding the vault. The group quickly swims towards the elevator with Yahima, but the scroll starts to float away in the rising water. Defying stereotypes, Letitia swims back through the rising water to retrieve the scroll, causing Atticus and Montrose to panic. Once she safely returns to the elevator, Atticus rewards her with a grateful kiss. As the couple gets affectionate, Montrose checks on Yahima to see if they're all right. Yahima clutches their chest and emits a high-pitched screech, making everyone cover their ears in pain. Atticus knocks her out to shut the ass up. Later in the car, Diana asks her mom how Letitia and the others managed to get to Chicago. Hippolyta doesn't know either and notices Diana scribbling in her dad's atlas. She asks Diana where she got the atlas, growing upset. Diana tells her she found it in the glove compartment, and Hippolyta pulls over to the side. She grabs the atlas from Diana, who has no idea why her mom is getting so worked up. Hippolyta looks at the red line leading to a circle that says Devon County. By the way, Devon County is an extremely racist area. After a quick decision, Hippolyta makes a U-turn, confusing Diana even more. At Letitia's place, Yahima finds herself unable to speak. Girl, it was because of all that fucking screaming. Atticus tells Montrose that Titus turned her into a siren so she can't talk if she escaped the vault. Yahima doesn't know how to break the spell, but Atticus assures Montrose he'll figure it out since he has the pages. Atticus suggests teaching Yahima English so she can teach the language of Adam, rather than them deciphering it. Montrose praises Atticus's bravery back in the tunnels and is happy that he grew up to be a good man, despite how Montrose treated him. Montrose tells him that his mother would be proud, and Atticus tears up before saying goodnight to his dad. When Atticus is away, Montrose enters Yahima's room and closes the door. He walks behind her and whispers he's sorry in their ear before swiftly slicing his neck. And here I thought they was gonna do the nasty since Yahima got both genitalia.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.